Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a plan with me for the week of January the 27th through February the 2nd, 2025. That is my birds you hear in the background. If you hear some squeaking and a little heads up, a little bit into this video, my light goes out because of the battery. So yeah, let's get into this. As I'm planning this, you'll see as I get toward the end, I'm realizing that I'm ending the month and then I'm going into like that February page where it's blank and it gives you that opportunity to do like whatever you want on that blank page going into the new month. And I wanted to make sure that I kept that clear because I do like how I set up this monthly page, the first page with the trackers on my goals and things of that sort. So I definitely want to keep that going. So I'm going to leave that exactly how it is. Yeah, other than that, let's get into it. Everything else is pretty much the same. Now, I will say, I don't know if I'm going to continue this style for next month, only because I realized the fact that I just might run out of space with breaking days up like I'm doing. I just might run out of some space. And that's the only thing I'm fearful of. So I will see how this is going to work going into the new month. And if I could possibly just add in some sticky notes that is large enough for me to like kind of stick in my meals or different things like that. So I'll have to figure that out. But so far so good. I have been loving playing in this and just how things are going. I would still on each day keep my routine, which is what I'm kind of setting things up to have, like a morning and a night routine to get more in tune with that. So while I am doing this video, you all don't hear, but I'm watching Virgin River. If you all have ever seen that, then you know what you know with the show. I started watching Virgin River. It comes on Netflix, and I started watching that as a means for me to have like a feel-good sort of picture to watch. Not anything that was difficult to watch or I had to do a lot of processing with afterwards, or not even anything that might make me feel a certain way after I watch an episode. I just needed something that was easy, had some, laughs in it, some good like family, community love, different things like that. And that show is pretty much what it is. I've always wanted to check it out, but I've never before because typically I watch true crime or something like that. So I would definitely check it out if you haven't already done so. It's an amazing show. And a 7th season is coming, and currently I'm on the 5th season. And when I tell you, this show makes you kind of say stuff out loud. Like the ending of the 4th season, I was like, what? Like I was literally talking out loud. But definitely go check that out. Another thing that I've been just trying to focus on, and excuse me, I can't say that I have been doing the best at it. If it's one thing I'm good at, and I'm happy that I'm good at, is being honest with myself. And I cannot really say that I have been on target when it comes to Bible study. And that's something that starting this year off, I wanted to get better at, even more so now, because I feel like I'm struggling in areas of just everything that's going on in the world and how I'm processing it and how I'm not processing it, and internalizing and all of that. And I feel like with me reading and how I have been reading the devotional book by Joyce Meyer of Battlefield of the Mind, I think a lot of things that I'm seeing and experiencing is definitely things of the battlefield of the mind and how my mind can be attached, and how the mind in general can be attached to certain things, and just how are we processing everything. What are we making out of things that are happening around us? And I think that's why Bible study is so important. I feel like it needs to go hand in hand. I think devotionals are great, and obviously prayer is great, but I think for me, I feel Bible study and actually like reading your Bible is really good. Like, even I can remember going to church and hearing sermons and hearing like the opening passages from the Bible as to where the context came from for the sermon, and listening to it, and that was just it. Like, not necessarily going back throughout the week and saying, okay, let me read that whole story in its entirety. Let me know everything that comes with it. And I think that's where a lot of people may struggle with, because then that leads us to believe whatever it is that we're hearing without reading and knowing things for ourselves. So that I am a little bit disappointed in, because I feel like I can make time for everything else. I should make time for a Bible study. And because it's not necessarily a part of my routine, therein lies the struggle. So that I want to get more on track with my routines. That's another thing I'm not that proud of. I feel like I'm still doing things mainly on 1 or 2 days. And I feel like that adds to my overwhelm and just overall anxiety, because I'm feeling like I start a day off that I may have off, or may not have to go to work until late that night because I'm working overnight. And I put so much stress on myself to think like, okay, you got these amount of hours, you really need to get all of this taken care of. And sometimes there's just a lot of pressure to think about all at one time. So when I think about routines and things of that, like, a lot of like my goals this year is to like, yeah, add in like the savings, different things like that. But also the routine and the Bible study is a huge part of what my goals actually are. So that means, am I journaling? I feel like this is definitely a time, not only in, I feel like we're living history for one. And not only that, but I also feel like, you know, journaling will help me get through a lot of what's happening now, because those feelings and those thoughts are not just shut in. And unless you have a person that you're able to go to and express how you feel, then where do these thoughts go, and what do we do with them? So like journaling, my healthcare, exercise and movement, I've totally gotten off with that. I've only exercised one time this month. And I'm not saying that before then I was this big exercise person and I ran every single day. I was not. And I know it's important, because directly related to my health, that is important. But then more so than that, like scriptures that I read of, just presenting our body as a living sacrifice to God, and thinking about, if my body is the place where God dwells, making sure that it's in tip-top shape is important. Not only for me to take care of my kids, which needs a lot of strength and effort, but also for me to just be that piece to help others. So that's why things like that may be small and it may get overlooked, but it's also something that's extremely important. The Bible in general, I said I wanted to start reading the actual Bible and not from my Bible app. I can remember the days where I had to like actually look up a scripture. Like, I'd be at church and it was no Bible app, so I had to like find it. I can even remember being in vacation Bible school and having to learn the books of the Bible. And at one point, I was working at a Christian childcare center, and so we implemented verses and different things like that on a regular basis. But another aspect of what I need to work on is rest. And that is something that I still don't think I've been good at. Resting. And that's huge and that's important. Being able to rest helps recuperate, and it helps just reset the body and the mind in general. And my rest has been all over the place. Granted, I know my work schedule does not permit a lot to happen. And I say that because, like, I don't work overnights. The overnights is not my regular schedule. But whenever I pick up, I tend to pick up overnight. So being able to manage the next day and even preparing to go into overnight with rest is extremely important. So, I encourage you all to look at the things that you want to change. And I think SMART goals, if you're not familiar with it, or you are and you've just never done it or haven't done it in a while, is important. SMART goals allows you to give yourself that specific, very specific goal, in terms of like time management, how you're going to measure if you've done it, the action, the relevancy of it. So I think that those are extremely important. And it gives us that step back, because if we've been doing life for a while, so being able to, sometimes things become too much of a routine, and the routine is not necessarily a good routine, whether it's procrastination or whatever that could be improved. So I encourage you all to kind of look at the routines that we have. And a lot of times the routines directly affect our goals. So thinking about, like, if your goal is to lose weight or to get this certification or whatever it is, we have to look at what are our routines. So if my goal is to, eat better, eat more vegetables, I need to look at the routine of what am I doing. Like, if I'm regularly snacking, what am I regularly snacking? And what needs to break up that schedule, or that routine? Sometimes we're on a routine of, well, I go to the grocery store and I always buy snacks and sweets, but it's never like the healthy ones. So it's intercepting like that, those unhealthy habits and routines, and being able to implement new things, but also giving yourself grace throughout it. So I would encourage you all to do that, because whatever we're going through, it directly affects everything. But being able to have a body that is good helps us through it all, because stress definitely can attack our physical and mental. Frustration, all of that plays a part. So be mindful of that and take care of yourself. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know how you have been doing with your planners so far. Has things been going well? I've seen some people on YouTube have been changing things up. And I totally think that that's fine. Just because we're in the first month, hey, if something's not working, move it around and make it where it fits what you need. But I will see you all in the next video. I hope you all have an awesome week. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.